You know, it's funny. I should go to bed. It's about to be 8 o'clock in the morning, where it's not nighttime where I am. So, really, this ASMR style of narration is for you because I know sometimes I can be very loud. So, this would be something different, new, interesting, and fun for me. And if you guys like and want more of this content, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and maybe I can do some more narrations or readings like this in ASMR style. Maybe make a playlist. What do you guys think? If you guys leave a comment in the comment box below, let me know so in that way I can make more of these videos for you. If you like the background that I have put in this particular video, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description box below, along with all of my other links to my stories and all the books that I've published and all of that really cool stuff. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started reading ASMR style. So go ahead, sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and I hope you enjoy the story that I'm going to read to you, okay? So the story that we're going to be reading today is actually a book that I recently picked up from an indie author. Her name is Nadia Valentine. The name of the book is called Price. So I'm going to be reading this particular story, ASMR style. I'll be reading the first chapter, and you guys let me know if you want more of this content, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Chapter 1. Her life had been anything but fun or privileged. She had started at the bottom and barely worked her way to the middle. Though she'd always dreamed of becoming a writer or something better than what she was to get out of this horrible city with these horrible people, it seemed like she didn't have a chance in hell. Getting anywhere with writing was proving to be futile, and she barely had time to do that anyway, given that she was constantly at work to support herself. It was a luxury to eat out if she could once a month. She was up to her eyeballs in debt. From a medical crisis she had to pay out of pocket for a few years back. Essentially, it felt like she was only working to pay bills and never have any fun. Since she didn't have cable, because she couldn't afford that either, she ended up watching the local news every night. Not that she normally would be interested in that either, but it was better than nothing, and since internet service was expensive and cut out most of the time, she had to do something to keep herself sane. But it was him, Elliot. He wasn't exactly an anchor man. He was one of their field reporters. A young man, she could tell that he was an eager up-and-comer, though he had to be making considerably more money than she was. He wasn't quite at anchorman status, not yet. If she had to guess, though, he did. If she had to guess, though, he was bringing in a crap ton of ratings, looking as good as he did. Since he was also young, he was daring and would do crazy shit on the air for attention. Stuff that none of the other reporters seemed to want to attempt to do. Holding exotic and dangerous animals, bungee jumping, parasailing, skiing, traveling to areas where there had just been some kind of crisis or disaster. He was amazing, and in her mind, it was pretty much better than watching any cable drama that she could have afforded if she had the money anyway. One night while eating ice cream right from the container and half drunk while the news was on, she saw Elliot doing some piece on how the next national jackpot would be $1 billion. This had only happened once before. She had bought a ticket back then too, but hadn't won. Not that she'd been surprised about it either. It was just some sort of puff piece walking around and talking to people who were buying tickets, asking them what they planned to do if they did win. "I'd probably buy your ass and make you into my own personal trophy husband," she muttered to herself and chuckled softly as she finished up the ice cream. The thought was fleeting, and by the next morning she barely remembered she'd even thought that. The thought was fleeting, and by the next morning she barely remembered she'd even thought that. She did, however, scrounge up just enough change in her crappy little car to get a ticket. It was worth a shot. Her father had always called the lottery some phony insurance plan for suckers. The way she saw it, well, she could either spend $2 and maybe have a chance to win $1 billion, or not have a chance at all. $2, she believed, was worth the risk. It wasn't like she would be able to buy much more with it, and she rarely, if ever, bought lottery tickets anyway. She headed to the gas station down the street and picked one up, then bummed a cigarette from the cashier before heading into work for that day. Another crazy, annoying restaurant shift dealing with spoiled, self-entitled, stuck-up assholes. She worked at a 5-star place, having mistakenly believed that would mean people would tip better, but she found more often than not she didn't get a tip at all. No matter how nice she was or how good at her job, the only real perk was rarely when a celebrity was in town. She'd gotten to serve them. She lived in a major city, so those types of people weren't unheard of as clients, but that didn't mean she always got their tables. The next few days were annoyingly stressful and hard. She'd forgotten she bought the ticket, which she tucked into the glove compartment of her car. It wasn't until she was watching the news half drunk again, while finishing the ice cream she'd gotten, did she see Elliot mentioning on the news that there was definitely a winner. One winner, one ticket, and whoever it was had not yet come forward to claim it. Even more interestingly, they knew the winner was from her city and where the ticket was purchased, the gas station right down the street from her. She blinked a few times. Was she hearing this right? No, she must have been way too drunk. Still, it was possible, she supposed. She got up and grabbed her car keys and headed out to her car to dig through the glove box. She hadn't even told anyone she bought a ticket because she'd been rushed and she was kind of a loner. No real friends and her family wasn't exactly a part of her life, not that she minded. Having friends took energy, and people were so quick to betray others for their own stupid, selfish needs. She'd become okay with being alone a long time ago. All she needed was her dog and her cat. It was nicer that way. She could do anything she wanted when she wanted, and she didn't have to worry about compromise or trying to please anyone else. She was alone, but she wasn't lonely. She headed back into her apartment and sat down on the couch. The piece about the lottery was over by that point, so she got out her phone to look up what the winning numbers actually were. As she read them, she looked at her ticket. They were matching. No possible way in hell. She double, triple, and quadruple checked them. This couldn't be. She was holding a piece of paper that was worth $1 billion, and it was all hers. All hers? Holy shit, she muttered, then immediately ran into the bathroom to puke. The feeling too powerfully overwhelming for her to be able to contain literally every last emotion welling up inside of her. Fear, excitement, anxiety, everything all at once hitting her like a ton of bricks. This wasn't happening. It couldn't be happening. Surely she'd wake up in the morning and something would be changed. The numbers would be different. Or she'd have lost the ticket entirely, right? When she finally recovered from that, feeling she could breathe normally and stand up again, she headed back into her bedroom and living room and picked the ticket up again. She looked at it, then checked the numbers again. She remembered Elliot's voice talking about how there was one winner. They would not be sharing the jackpot, and there she was holding the ticket. She flipped it over to read the back. She'd have to actually go to the lottery office location, and it wouldn't be open until the next morning. She lit up a cigarette and sat down heavily on her futon. It was going to be one hell of a long night. Although that's not the first chapter, not the entire first chapter, I wanted to do this particular episode as a tester to let me know if this is content that you guys would want. Again, for those of you that are interested in buying the book, the author's name is Nadia Valentine. The name of the book is called Price. So I will leave links in the description box below for those of you that do want to purchase and support. Thank you all again for joining me, and I would be more than happy to see you all again. I hope I was able to help you relax a little bit, and thank you again, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Cheers, guys.